It seems that there's such a disconnect between the internet and real life. I said this one time about a year and some change ago. I said that the enemy is winning online, the devil's winning the internet, and Christians are winning in real life. Meaning, when I said that, I meant more so that society is still, functioning. And granted, I'm in Texas, so that's way different than if I were in Maryland, which some of your experiences are. And I'm from Florida, so those are the two places I frequent, which are more, more freedom loving states.
Yes.
But I see society still, obviously it's not as, connected and friendly as it once was, but there is still a sense of like safety. There is still a sense of civilization and calmness. And
Where we're at, it's a good point that you brought that up. But like, for example, a few years ago, I went to a Trump rally in Sacramento, and there maybe were about, on the Trump side, there were about 80 to 150 people there, I'd say, just from guessing.
Wait, there's what? How many people?
Like 100 to 150, I'll say.
At a
Like,
Trump rally? That's it?
Yeah, it's in Sacramento.
150? That's it?
Yeah, it's in Sacramento. Trump wasn't there. It was just a rally, like...
Oh, he wasn't there?
No. It was just a conservative rally. Let's
Okay,
call it
I
like
got you.
that.
All right,
But
there you go.
in support of Trump.
There you go.
And then there are 300 Antifa that came out. They're throwing M80s and like really heavy glass bottles and stuff like that. And there's actually a preacher there that was just preaching. He wasn't even politically motivated. He was just preaching. They beat this man to within an inch of his death.
Really?
Like, they beat this man bad just for being out there, and he was walking back to his car. Now, for the Sacramento police sake, they were there to stop it from escalating, but they weren't there to protect anyone, which that's when I saw, like, wow, the police really aren't for you. They're like, in some senses, like, I like sheriff's office and stuff like that. We need a sense of like control, maybe not control, but law and order.
Yeah.
Yes. But in a lot of, especially in these big cities, the police departments are just doing the biddings of their political overlords. So it showed me that it's not as online as you'd think. And like, another example I could use is swatting. People post someone's address online and have the SWAT team come through and like report like, oh, there's a person with a weapon here and they're going crazy, and the police have to react in kind to that. So they send the SWAT team to try to go de-escalate that situation, but in reality it's just a family eating dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a slow roll, but it does come out.
Right.
It does.
One day it shows up on your doorstep is what
Exactly.
you're saying. Yeah.
And these things don't happen like, if you're not paying attention to it,
Right.
it will just, one day the veil of reality will just come down, and you'll see everything for as it is, and all the violence that people are capable of. So I'm reading a book about the Spanish Civil War right now in the 1930s, the precursor to World War II, a lot of people say, and the violence that those communists committed. They went through village by village, and any landowner, priest, whatever, they just shot them dead in the street and mutilated their bodies and stuff like that. And these are from firsthand accounts.
Yeah.
So, and did you think those people saw it coming? If they saw it coming, they wouldn't have been there when all that stuff happened. So it's, and I don't want to be so
gung-ho about it.
Well, not gung-ho, but so doom and gloom about it,
Right.
because we aren't at that point to where that's going to happen. But if we don't start paying attention to what's going on, pay attention to what they're teaching our kids, pay attention to how the government's moving, that will come about. And that is our duty. We were talking about duty to God, duty to country as a citizen.
Yeah.
Well, that's where that part comes in. Your duty as a citizen is to pay attention to what's going on so that we can protect this wonderful democracy, constitutional republic that we have. Otherwise, the veil's going to be pulled. You know?
Right. So do you think that because there have been more people paying attention, we saw the moms going to the school boards and like, making their voices heard, and we see, even January 6th, I feel like even though they painted a picture one way, I think it had real life implications that maybe, prevented some other, things that don't have the country's best interest in mind from happening. Do you think that that's something that we can continue kind of seeing in the landscape of the political landscape happening that's going to prevent, the dark forces, I guess, from taking over and completely almost like,
That's a loaded question
Yeah, a
for
little
me.
bit. A little bit.
I'll answer it the best way I can.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in private, you know what we talked about, but yes, or it can exacerbate it. It just depends on what the elite want to do.
Right.
So I was really happy about January 6th because it showed that the American people still had some teeth. You know, that we aren't going to let the government just do whatever they want, and we do still have a say in things. And especially with what happened in Congress recently with the House of Representatives and the Freedom Caucus holding out on voting for Kevin McCarthy until certain concessions were made. All those concessions are things the American people wanted. We just want accountability.
What are some of those things for those listening that haven't been following the story?
So, number one, they're going to look into Biden's Ukraine dealings. They aren't going to pass any more funding to Ukraine for aid without a dedicated look at the bill.
Good.
I think one of the ones was they have to introduce each bill like one at a time. No more of these 1,400 page bills that you can't read through. In
Yeah,
one
and that
night.
they just sign before Christmas.
Exactly.
They can go on vacation.
And I'm blanking on the other ones right now.
Yeah, but they're all more in line with what the American people actually want. Wow.
Exactly.